Hello, the game has started. It's me to go fast. I have Thor ear. I have some doubt about this, but I think it's good. Pretty good. Balanced rack. No duplicates. 2 high-scoring tiles. I can't see a 7. Quite a few floaters to consider. Just working my way through Thor. Haven't seen anything yet. I'm up to the I. Well, I may be missing something, but I haven't seen anything with these floaters. I've got Knop, beginning above the I of Thor. That's just been blocked. Zhao takes an L after it. My priority is to play off the K, because that's my least bingo-y tile. I'm just wondering about playing above Thor to place my K or my P next to this O. So I could play Cop in this spot. It would be nice to play off, well, certainly the O, because OA is not that bingo-y, and possibly the L, because L and N lack synergy. And this is only 25 points, so I think I can do better. Plonk is good, and Plonko. Those don't help. My Knop spot has been taken. Now, do I have anything in column 7 running down parallel to Joe? Well, not really. Not going past the J. I could play Pinko. Which leaves quite a good rack leave. And although it is providing a hotspot from K8 down to the triple word square, that will provide 3 more floaters. Only 22 points, which isn't good. So I still think this isn't a great play. Well, I'm going to play it. Not great. Certainly no bingos here, no 7s, and I don't think there will be an 8 either. Well, there are my extra floaters. Close to Alcazar's. Now, I wish to play off my Z. So I'm looking around for places to play it. Just wondering if I've got a double-double in row K. Can't see one. I could play Tsar and Cop. 24 points, not a great score, but it does sort the rack out. A rack leave of LIS isn't that fantastic. Just wondering if I have anything through the H, which can get doubled. Can't see anything. I could play Tsarist in column 3. 34 points. Wrecking the rack leave and burning the S. Well, I think I prefer Tsar to that. I've got Lazar down here, and I think this is going to be a better score and a better rack leave than Tsar. 33 points. Well, that looks a little better. Slightly too many vowels. So I may not have a bingo here, but the tiles are certainly quite bingo-y. I'm looking at the T of Thoya and the R of the same word. But I'm not seeing anything. I've got the AGE ending. The vowels in Podia aren't particularly helpful since I've got so many. And I can't see anything through the D. Not board awash with scoring opportunities for non-bingos. Quite a few bingo lanes, but not many hotspots, which I guess is okay since I'm ahead. Just wondering how to sort this rack out. A play of Geo would leave a decent rack leave, ACES. Can't see anywhere for that. Yep. Let me see what that scores. 20. I will challenge it. Something about it doesn't look quite right, but I think it's good. Yeah, it's fine. It takes an E at the end. More bingo lanes available now, or an additional one rather, in column 2. Now I do have a spot for Geo, but that doesn't score enough given what it opens up. So I think I can do better than that. Now, what I could do is play Goa down here. Well, that's pretty awful as well, because it provides a vowel right next to L1. Quite a few E's left. I'm wondering about playing across here from N to make a tour D using my E. Well, what about playing just GO? Well, I think it's foolish keeping a vowel heavy rack leave when I can avoid it. An O can go underneath or in between R and OP. I'm 54 points ahead, so I certainly don't want to provide an easy scoring opportunity for my opponent. This is much trickier than I was expecting. I'm just wondering if there's a 5-letter play down here. "58 tiles left, only 13 minutes on my clock." Well, I think I'm going to go for the play with the best rack leave. Because a 4-letter rack leave is quite good. Case goes well with the R and the D. This 7-letter bingo lane is really helpful. And if my opponent is drawn to the bottom left-hand corner of the board, that's going to leave all of those openings available. And given that these 4 tiles are quite bingo-y, that seems reasonable. The bad thing about this play is it really doesn't score very much at all, only 11 points. Now, has that played off? I'm wondering about cassette with 1T. I feel there is a 7-letter play here. But I'm not sure what it is. Ectases is good. Great, only 32 points for my opponent. Ectases does play at G9 across. It takes a P in front. I think it may have an anagram. It doesn't play in column 2. So, do I have an alternative? This is a situation where I've seen a bingo, and it could be suboptimal, and there could be a better bingo which is significantly better in terms of equity. Now, I'm looking down here at Podia, and the R. Well, I'm short on time. I think I will play this. This is a better position above rather than below, in case my opponent has a 7-letter play which takes an S at the end. Ectases 64. I draw another S, which is good. I have 2 M's. Not so great. There could be a bingo here, though. I've got the men ending with slem. So close to salesman, but that's not there. I would have ism through an I. Okay, I don't think there's a bingo here, but I have got scoring tiles in the M. And I've got 2 E's, so I can burn one of them in getting rid of my M. So I could play mem and That would retain L and N, but I think I'm going to struggle to get rid of both of those. I'm not really looking at this triple word square because I'm expecting my opponent to take it. I could play mem across here. Mem, me, ma and es. That would be good since I'm ahead. I could play just double M down here beside Eturdi. So I've got a couple of spots for my M's. Keeping duplicate E isn't too terrible. 15 minutes on my opponent's clock, 11 on mine. Just wondering if there is a bingo here through any floater. Well, not that I can see, and certainly not with the available floaters on this board. Both blanks still out there, and a lot of floaters. And my opponent's taking a while, so he could be about to bingo. But he may be looking for a bingo through the final S of Ectases. He may be worried by column 15. He may also be looking for a 9-timer. If my opponent does play in column 15 and places an E above this S, then my mem spot would remain available because meme is good. 46 tiles in the bag. £26 points for MM in column 2. 29 for mem above ectases. I can't play in row H underneath ectases because I've got nothing to go underneath either S. Now, what I can do is see what publicly available information there is about my opponent. Okay, he has bingoed. He's opened up another 9 timer. My mem spot is available. Now there is another spot for mem down here. Only 28 points. So I think this is better. £29 points. Just pausing in case there is a bingo through any of these floaters, and I don't think there is. Now I'm pausing again, just wondering about playing meme down here. No, I think I'll keep the E on my rack. This board is wide open. And that is not a good pickup. I was hoping with my rack leave of ELNS that I would have a good shot at being close to a bingo. This is not close to a bingo. I've only drawn consonants. And the F and the W are pretty unbingo-y consonants. I've got less and ness on my rack. Just need to be sure that I don't discount a bingo. It would certainly be going through a vowel on the board. Wow, nice play by my opponent. 42 points for him. He's now only 12 points behind. I need to get rid of my W and F immediately. I could play fawn, C1 across. I could play fess down here, making mems. 29 points. But that retains the W, and I think I do need to get rid of that. Although I note that my W can go between the A and the K, so if I were to draw an O, one of the remaining two, I'd have a high-scoring play down here. But I think I should it's still better to play it off. So the play I was thinking of was fawn. I'd rather play off the L than the N. Only 20 points. I could get 2 more by playing off the S. £22 points. Is that really the best I can do? 8 minutes on my clock, 30 tiles in the bag. I cannot hang around. Yeah, I'm going to go with this. Great, I draw a blank, and this is definitely a bingo-y rack. I've got ale vines at 01 across. Now, do I have a 9 timer? Not at A1 through the G, but possibly in column 15 ending ES something. So EST or ESS? EST is more likely. Okay, that's been taken out. Oscule. Yep, I think that's good. I've got ale vines. No four-timers to consider. There is the possibility of a word beginning with G. Can't see it. And there's also the possibility of getting my V on this double letter square. Well, I'm short on time. I think I'd rather just get this down. Ale vines, 83. Horrible rack. I have got an 80-point lead. But the remaining tiles are somewhat bingo-y, especially given that there is a blank out there, and there are a lot of bingo lanes on this board. And I'm going to struggle to sort this rack out in one. Quite a few vowels left, but they're just in the bag, not on my rack. And suddenly there just aren't that many vowels to play through on the board. One T to come, so retaining 2 isn't a disaster. I could play Fund from A4 down. That would take out the 9 timer, which isn't very likely. But more importantly, it would score quite well. 24 points. Just looking around for hotspots for my F. Can't really use the first E of ale vines. Now what about the second one? I've got UF, but I've got nothing to go in front of UF. The F is a good scoring tile. We are approaching the end game. I don't have to dump it. I'm really looking to use it to score. So I could play Dub across here. I'm just wondering about Bundy, B-U-N-D-E. Not totally sure about that, although I should be. Only 18 points in any event. Now my F can go underneath ER, so I could play Fund across here. 22 points, that's quite good. I've got Butt on my rack, B-U-T-T. So I could play B-U-T-T-E in column 14. Only 16 points, so that's lagging a play like Fund. I could play Bund, B-U-N-D-T at A4 down. Giving a slightly better rack leave and retaining the F for score. The B is a slightly more bingo-y starting tile for a bingo than the F. My opponent again taking a while with his move. Last time he did that, he played Gautier, so he could be about to bingo again, and if so, the end game will be quite tight. So at the moment, I'm thinking of Bund and Fund, and I'm drawn towards Bund because there's still a blank out there, and it playing off more tiles increases my chances of drawing the blank. It also expedites the end of the game, which I want to do since I'm ahead. I think Obtund is good, and that would play in row L. Only 18 points, but it is playing off 5 tiles. So that has some merit, keeping just FT. It does place the U underneath a double word square with a Q still out there. That's not particularly dangerous because just a 4-letter play would be likely. Sorry, just a 3-letter play. So something like qua or aqua. Only 24 points. That's not massively dangerous. And it would provide some protection against being stuck with the Q if I draw it myself. My opponent is certainly taking a while with this move. He's now used more time than I have. If he does play all 7 tiles, there'll be just 7 in the bag. The available bingo lanes aren't massively bingo-y. The only triple word square available is in row A, and that's quite hard to use, but not impossible. The G mainly features at the end of bingos in ing and age ending words. Just 5 minutes on my opponent's clock. Just looking around in case there's any options for me that I haven't considered. Great, there goes the Q. That blocks the fun spot, so I think I will go with obtund. $18 points. Great, I draw the X, and I have a couple of vowels. I'm wondering if I can put my X underneath this N. Can't see a way of doing that. Great, my opponent doesn't bingo. Nice score for him, 39 points. He's now 40 points behind. 1 tile in the bag, but the remaining tiles very bingo-y. So he could have hernie. Gloving isn't a great set of tiles at the end to play underneath. Hernie doesn't play there. So suddenly this board has fewer bingo lanes than just now. So what can I do? I can play XED across here. $37 points, pretty good. So 1 tile in the bag. It's probably not the H. I'm just wondering if there's a play which scores so much that I can survive a bingo. 6 minutes on my clock. So, are there any massive X spots? Well, what about this U of obtund? Well, I suppose the best I can do there is axe. 42 points. So that would give me 82. That probably wouldn't survive a bingo on countback. It would be nice to play fax or faxed somewhere. Just looking in column 4 to see if I've got a play down here. Can't see anything. I've got text on my rack and taxed. I could play. There may be a play with my X on this triple letter square. Now, do I have a play in column 12 ending max? Now, one advantage of XED is that it retains a vowel, which is good, in case the remaining tile is an H or an N. 37 points is quite good. That would give me a lead of 77. It wouldn't survive any bingo. But I don't think I can score enough to avoid that possibility. So I think I will go with this. I can now see what my opponent's got. Well, he may have a bingo, but I'm going to concentrate on my own rack. I've got the F for score. I could play FA underneath gloving, which I think would guarantee the win if my opponent doesn't bingo right now. Ah, I've got fatties in column 13 as an out. That's good. Can't see anywhere else which is available as an out. But if my opponent doesn't bingo, then I'm going to win because I'm 70 ahead. So, does he have a bingo? Fortunately for me, the I was the last one in the bag, which was the only vowel which goes underneath the G of the remaining ones. So his rack is a lot harder to find a bingo than if one of the A's or E's was an I. Four minutes on my opponent's clock and 4 on mine. Well, I thought this was going to be tighter time-wise on my clock. I felt I was taking a lot of time earlier in the game, but that seems to have sorted itself out, so I've got plenty of time for the end game now. I have Fiat on my rack, which could play in row E, if fatties is blocked. Ah, I have fattier down here through the ER. Great. Well, it's harder but not impossible to block both of those outs with a non-bingo play. So a 3-letter play across here or a 4-letter play would achieve that. Two minutes on my opponent's clock. Well, the Aturi hook was never taken. Fatties scores more than fattier. So that will be my preferred play if my opponent does not bingo. He may be looking for a 9-letter play through MA or ES. Close to anathema. But I think he may not have a bingo. Certainly I haven't seen one. So what if my opponent blocks fatties and fattier? Well, I could play Fiat and Earth. 21 points. He has blocked both of my outs. Fiat and Earth remains available. Just looking at the scores, I'm 40 points ahead. My opponent is going to go out. I don't think Fayette is good, an anagram of Fiat, but it might be. I'm not going to risk it. So Fiat for 21. Just pausing in case I've got something over the top of here. I don't think I do. My opponent will be going out now. So pass to end the game. And the final score, 363 to my opponent, 419 to me. A winning margin of 56 points. So, a good win. Let's see what I missed. Wow, look at that. Ale vines, not good. Okay, well I got away with one there. Now, this was my opening rack, and I played Thoria. And that was the only bingo. My opponent's rack, not great. He played as Jow. And now there wasn't a bingo with this rack. I played Pinko, it didn't feel great, although the rack lead was fine, ALS. A few more points available, including Panko at G5. Ah, right, making Po. Okay. My opponent's rack, not great. He plays Podia. And I played Lazar for 33. Zilch would have been a much better play. ARS, a better rack lead than CIS, and a better score. My opponent's rack. I think he's got something through the T. Iodurate. Nope, I'm making that one up. Diodurate. Anyway, he plays Eturdi. This was my rack. No bingos here, despite it initially looking quite good. Lots of plays from L1. Ah, pluralizing Lazar. Coders for 37. Yeah. And this was a rack I spent a long time over before playing Geo for 11. Certainly Coders would have been better. My opponent's rack, he plays AY. And now I saw Ectases, that was all I saw. But there also available was Caseates through the A of Podia. And Cateress at D9 through the R. Okay, but all the bingos scored about the same. My opponent's rack, he has Gotia. And this was my rack. Ah, Maneem, quite nice. E1, coming down here for 36. What did I do? Mem for 29, keeping ELNS. Yeah, well, that's not too bad. The other moves above it aren't clearly better. My opponent's rack, not great, but a good find of Briary. And C1, Fawns. I went with that. I didn't particularly like it, but it looks okay. My opponent's rack, he plays Oscule. And now, this is where I disgrace myself with Alevines. Plenty of bingos. Only and vials from the A of Podia. But L8. Okay, Olivines and Oscules. Devlings, beginning with the D. And villains through the I. So plenty of bingos there. It's Alevins without the E. I think this is a word I get confused with because I think it's Alexin, which takes an E and an S, and Alevin, which only takes an S. Anyway, my opponent didn't challenge. He plays Suk. This was my rack. Fund and Earth. Okay, and I played Obtund, keeping FT. I felt that that increased my chances of drawing a blank, and this was a more flexible rack leave than BTT. So I'm happy with that. My opponent's rack, no bingo there. He plays Gloving. And this was my rack. And I played X'd for 37. Retaining the A. Yeah. And the other plays are not clearly better. Now, did my opponent have a bingo? No, he didn't. And did I have an out? I didn't. So B6 far for 28. I played Fiat for 21, so far would have been better, just. And that was the end of the game. So quite a tight game, and certainly my opponent was close to a bingo at the end, and there were bingo lanes open, so it was my good fortune that he didn't actually have a playable bingo on his rack, and I scraped the win. So, I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.